I mean, I was told by my film professor there are films and there are movies. And sometimes you've got to know what you're walking into.
Yeah. See, but I come from a time when movies were films.
The Polar Express released November 10th, 2004, and it's been in my life since 2004. I was born that same year, and still, this movie has had a very big impact on my life. Every single year, Christmas doesn't feel exactly the same without watching The Polar Express. Say what you want to say. You may say the film is bad and looks weird, but for me, this has been and always will be, regardless of what I think about the movie, a very quintessential watch for me every single December, because it does kind of invoke the proper emotions that I need every single Christmas. And Christmas the past few years, and I guess even beyond the past few years, has started to feel a little bit stale, a little bit bland. The spark of Christmas has kind of begun to kind of die out a little bit, which kind of is natural for every single adult. I think my entire life I've never exactly believed in Santa Claus. I know Santa Claus is fake, he's not real, but, still the whole vibe of Christmas has always kind of started to feel a little bit dry, a little bit stale. I don't feel the same kind of magic that I felt when I was in elementary school, fourth grade, fifth grade, even, before that, obviously third grade, second grade. I felt like Christmas was this big, massive event every single year. And now December feels like just another month in the calendar, which is very sad, but that's been the reality for me. As I've gone into my adulthood, Christmas has become to be just more of a sad month at the end of the year. And going into the next few weeks of December of 2024, I'm going to be going into a few Christmas films and just trying to find a way to reignite my spark for the love of Christmas. It might be impossible, or it might just be very hard, but I'm willing to try. And the best place to start with that journey is with The Polar Express 2004, because like I said before, this movie, even outside of Christmas, has been very impactful and important for my childhood development overall. I really don't see myself alive without this movie, because I've watched it a lot of the years of Christmas that I've been living through, and it's been definitely very, very worth it. Even when I watched it this year, I rewatched it again, and still, the movie may not be perfect, but I still really enjoy it. But before even talking about The Polar Express, it's important to talk about just context of not only the movie and the year of 2004, but also to talk about just how this episode of The Polar Express came to be, and how it was supposed to actually drop last year in December of 2023, but it didn't. And you may be asking why? Why a year delay on one single episode? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because I got fired last year, December, at Chick-fil-A. I was working, I got fired, dumb reasons. It wasn't exactly my fault, but that's debatable here and there, whatever. You know me, I'm pretty hard-headed. So the plan was for last year to drop an episode for Polar Express and also Charlie Brown Christmas in the month of December. Not sure exactly when that would have been, but that was the plan. And then I got fired, so I didn't really do anything that month of December last year, except for I did an episode on the best films for December in 2023. And then I also did an episode on The Boy and the Heron and also Godzilla Minus One. Those were the only things for that month of December for 2023, which was actually a pretty cool month of pretty cool episodes, but still, it was definitely a little bit of a depressing month. Didn't have a job, I was just home playing Xbox and watching Star Wars. It didn't really feel like doing a Christmas episode here because it didn't really feel right. Christmas kind of betrayed me again in another year, so I was like, you know what, whatever, who cares, I don't need that. And then instead, push it back to 2024, this year, and I'm still surprisingly doing this show. Didn't think I would be, but here I am. So yeah, that's the context of this episode. Supposed to release last year, got a year delay, and now we're finally doing it here in 2024, so you know what, let's have some fun. And, just for now, we can go into the whole context of the book itself. And the book was actually released in 1985, and then it got adapted in 2004. So there's been a very heavy kind of gap here with the adaptations. And just like how we talked about Where the Wild Things Are in a couple weeks ago, we did that episode. Just like how with that book, there's not a whole lot to really go off of. You kind of have to a little bit, freestyle here as we go into the adaptation for the movie. You have to add a little bit more meat and potatoes to it. And, last year, I actually, like I said, I planned to do The Polar Express and also Charlie Brown Christmas. There's actually books for both of those movies, respectively. So I did go ahead and buy the Polar Express book. I returned it later. I'm not going to lie, I was kind of broke at the time. But still, I got the book for the Polar Express. I read it myself. And the difference between the book and the movie isn't that much. It wasn't that much like how we had Where the Wild Things Are, to where I can kind of compare and contrast. I did read the book for that, Polar Express. You can read it if you want to. I'll try to link it down below somewhere if you want to buy it for some reason. Go for it. I mean, you do you. But the book is a little bit, you can say, bland and basic, and the movie itself has more than meat, potatoes, and bones to really make for a full-fledged feature film that we can all respect. So I would definitely say that, respectively, this is definitely one of the better adaptations for a book that we've seen in recent memory, just because of the fact that this does do a lot more than the book can actually do. But, once again, respectively, the book isn't that many pages. It's not like I'm going from Prisoner of Azkaban, the book, to the Prisoner of Azkaban, the movie. It's two different things, but still, respectfully, I do enjoy how they went from the book to the movie and what they chose to add while still staying true to the true concept and vibe of the actual book itself. But now, going into the context of the film, like I said multiple times, the film came out in 2004, an extremely stacked year for a film. Also, the year I was born as well, so that's, a little pat in the back there. Just going through some of the notable films for this year, like I said, extremely stacked. We have the top 3 best Harry Potter film, Prisoner of Azkaban, incredible. The Incredibles as well, Howl's Moving Castle, Mean Girls, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. We have The Notebook in this year as well. We have Shrek 2. We have Kill Bill Volume 2. We have Spider-Man 2. Before Sunset is in this year as well. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie also here as well. We have the Polar Express, which we're going to talk about today. White Chicks is in here. We have the incredible masterpiece itself, Shark Tale, is in here as well. And the list really goes on. This is an incredibly stacked year for film. A whole lot of great movies that are very, very good. So like I say all the time, this movie's ability to shoehorn in and make any kind of money in 2004 has to be a little bit respectable in some kind of regard, because it really was truly competitive. But I was born in 2004, so you're probably asking yourself, when did this guy even see the movie? And the answer is, I really don't know at all. I did an episode last year as well for my Christmas movies that I liked a lot, and in that episode I probably talked about it there as well, how there's a lot of great films for Christmas that I just remember being in my life since I can even remember being alive. I mean, like films like The Grinch with Jim Carrey, literally a classic for my life. Home Alone 1 and 2, I literally have seen the movie every single year, religiously, and I will always do that for the rest of my life. And same for the Polar Express. So yes, there is a bit of bias because I have had this movie in my life since I was a foundling. Since I was able to walk, I've had this movie playing in the background somewhere, and I've seen it countless of times. But if I could say what my first experience was like, it was literally magical. It was like stepping into a different world, a reality where I was here, a little kid in the freezing snow on a train going to the North Pole. That's how the movie felt for me, and even as a 20-year-old man, as sad as it may seem, I felt like that same little kid watching the movie on the freezing cold on a train going to the North Pole and drinking hot cocoa, because the movie does invoke those incredible, incredible emotions, despite being, at times, very, very garbage. But enough of what I thought. Let's see how the movie held up in the critic department and also the finance department. Did this movie even make any money? Well, in the money side of things, this film did have a budget of $165 million, and it raked in $286 million, which is pretty modest. Is that even a good turnover rate? Let's check it out here. Obviously, the best thing to do, rule of thumb, is to take the budget and multiply by 2.5, and then that's going to be what the movie should have made about in that area. So this movie, 165 times 2.5 would be around $412.5 million. So this movie didn't exactly make its budget back at all. It was definitely a flop at the box office for a lot of different reasons, mainly because, like I said before, the year 04 is just huge, and also the animation may not have caught the eyes of every single kid out there, an adult out there. So, that's probably the reason why. So for money, the film didn't do that well margin-wise, and as for the Rotten Tomatoes side of things, for those who care about it, this movie has a 59% critic score and 64% audience score, so even to this day, people still aren't the biggest fans of this movie. Like I said before, I have a bit of bias here, so that's not really fair to say, but still, judging by the general Rotten Tomatoes kind of average here, it's not looking too hot for us. It's not really a passing score at all. It's definitely certified rotten, which isn't something you want in any kind of movie. But enough of general audiences and critics. Here's a couple of different reviews here from a couple of different people. One is from Roger Ebert, one of the greatest critics of all time, definitely a little bit of role model for me. He gave the film a 4 out of 4. That's a perfect score from the Roger Ebert, which is just a crazy thing to think about. And he said in his little review here, a little bit of a blurb here from his review. I'll leave the full thing down below. A little bit of a section from his review here. He says that it has a haunting, magical quality because it has imagined its world freshly and played true to it, sidestepping all through its tiresome Christmas cliches that children have inflicted on them during this time of year. And this is a great review. You can go ahead and read the full thing down below, but really, the movie does have this sense of magic and wonder that made me as a child just so much just infatuated by it. Yes, if I was a little bit older, I'd say this is just some absolute dog crap. I wouldn't even like this movie. But yet, I was young, I was stupid, and it's kind of cool seeing that how when I was a kid watching a film, everything feels bigger when you're a kid. Like right now, I'm going through the MCU movies, like I said in a few episodes ago, whatever, for December, watching every single MCU movie. Will I do it? I don't even know. But still, I finished up Phase 1 recently. And, I kind of noticed how these movies aren't even exactly that good. Yes, I do love them. But, when I was a kid, everything kind of felt bigger. The Avengers 2012 was one of the first ones I saw in actual theater. And that movie just felt so big in a theater with that big audience that when I watch it now at home on my TV, it doesn't feel the same way at all. But it still is very respectable. The Polar Express is the exact same. And over on Letterboxd, I do have a 3.3 out of 5 average, which definitely is not good at all. But I do have one review here from Ali on Letterboxd, who gave this film a 4 out of 5, who said, I love the feeling this movie gives me every single year. Which, yes, Ali, I do agree with you. Ali, we're the same person. Literally, I have to agree. We are the exact same person, Ali. Thank you so much for that. And it was actually very, very hard to try to find a review for the Polar Express from Letterboxd. Usually it's like an easy, 5-minute thing. This time around, almost every single review for the Polar Express on Letterboxd is just saying this animation is trash. That kid in the yellow shirt is yapping all the time. It's a very dark place in the Polar Express Letterboxd area, which I don't really understand. Yes, I do actually. I do understand the movie's animation sucks. Terrible, it's awful, but still, the movie's vibe and its emotion is what really draws me in every single year I watch it. And from there, just diving into what I think makes it that good, what exactly happens, so where this movie feels this way every time I watch it. It's really, I think, 3 main pillars here. One is Robert Zemeckis. He is just one of the greatest directors, I think, to ever do it. At least one of the most iconic. It's a little bit better word to say. Not exactly best, but, iconic, absolutely, in every single regard. He has been just the most consistent in terms of just vibe, emotion, feeling, excitement. That's in all of his movies. Even looking at just his filmography here a little bit, like Back to the Future, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Polar Express. All these films have that vibe of excitement and adventure that I always love to see in every single movie. And the second main pillar, what is it, Logan? Well, the second main pillar is literally just Alan Silvestri. Like I said, I've been watching the Marvel movies here, and Alan Silvestri, he is just incredible when it comes to score. He's just awesome. Think about just The Polar Express. Think about Back to the Future. All of those films are just incredible. This is literally one of the best director-composer duos I've seen in a very, very long time. Even just going beyond working with Robert Zemeckis, he did Infinity War and Endgame and Ready Player One. He just really has done so many incredible, profoundly infatuating, just goosebumping scores that he's done throughout his entire career. And The Polar Express is maybe just his most magical, most magnificent, because, truly, being able to capture this movie really does kind of ride on the score a lot of the time. If the score for this movie wasn't as good as it is, the movie most likely isn't going to be as well executed as it was. And the last main pillar is definitely the one, the only, the incredible, the GOAT, at least one of the GOATs of all time. It's definitely going to be Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks in every single movie just fails to not deliver something good when it comes to that movie. I feel like if I'm watching any kind of film, good or bad, he has the ability to go into that movie and regardless make it something just absolutely incredible. Whether it's Elvis, like how with Elvis, I wasn't maybe the biggest fan of that movie, but still, him being in there just adds this certain kind of vibe and aura to it, even though it was a crazy bit of makeup in that role. His ability to be just so lovable, so likable, so adaptable to everything just makes him so warm and makes him just such a powerful presence to be on any kind of film. This one in particular, the impact is there, literally playing 6 roles in the movie, also being the mocap for the kids. He just has done everything. I can't ask much more from him. He's incredible. Tom Hanks, GOAT, obviously. Who would even argue that? I don't know, but you're an idiot if you do. And even beyond those main external features, going into the actual film itself, it even goes deeper from there as to why this movie just really is just as much better as people think it really is. Even just starting at the very bare bones, basic meat and potatoes here of the main protagonist here, how he just really is a kid who at one point believed and doesn't really know what to believe anymore and feels very lost. And I love the most with this character is that he really is someone who wants to believe and wants to be proven wrong. I love that in the opening, how he has all of the posters of Santa Claus, all of the main articles, stuff saying that Santa Claus isn't real, yet he still keeps those and looks at all of them, really, I think, almost wanting to be proven wrong, wanting that Santa can be real in some kind of weird reality, even though he isn't in real life. He is very obsessed with the idea, the thought of Santa Claus being real, which is what makes the plot really beautiful, having everything set up around this main theme of Christmas. Having the kid not believe in any of it is awesome. It's just great. It's really just effortlessly brilliant, I think, in a way. Even if it's super cliche, I don't care, I still love it. Also, just the opening alone, the way everything's directed and also orchestrated is just so perfect. Just really the effortless, incredible storytelling without doing so much exposition. Being able to do all this stuff without doing a whole lot is incredibly impressive. I already mentioned it, but how he has all these posters and pictures of Santa Claus, even though Santa is not real at all. That little bit of detail just adds so much with no dialogue. And then also, I love that I noticed this when I watched it again this month, is that when his parents walk into the room, they say that he used to stay up all night waiting for Santa Claus, and then his dad says, yeah, those days are just about over, the magic might be all gone, the end of the magic is all gone away. And that, I think, as well, is just so effortless, incredible storytelling, seeing and hearing that at one point this kid just loved Santa, obsessed with him, really just wanted to meet him one day, and then now the magic is all lost. There's really no hope. This might just be the last Christmas he has to really feel something at the end of the day, which is just so beautiful as to just going into adulthood, how there is this very slow ticking time bomb almost of when I reach puberty, when I reach adulthood, I won't believe in Santa Claus at all, ever again, which is the reality of it all, but it's still a very sad reality. That's why I chose the movie to kind of hopefully in some shape or form try to reignite that fire that I had inside me for Christmas at one very long young age ago. I'm hoping and praying that with this movie and with this series, I might be able to feel something again, which has been very hard to find these days. And I think that when it comes to the magic alone of the Polar Express, it may have just done that thing without even really trying. This movie just has an effortless amount of magic, tone, mood, vibe, aura, whatever the kids are saying nowadays, the sound design, the score, it all feels like a magical dream when I watch the movie. Like I said, I'm 20 years old, but still seems like in the opening scene of the movie, when I see that there's the kid, his parents come into the room, he's not sleeping, he's faking it. That's literally, if you're a kid, if you were ever a kid, I guess, you've all had the experience of you playing your DS at 2 a.m, then your mom walks into the room, you have to hide your DS. Look, we've all been there. This moment of the opening of the movie feels like a little bit of reaching back into my childhood memories and pulling it back out again, which I really do obviously love. Then going into the more magic side of things, I love that when the train arrives, the room starts rumbling, stuff starts shaking on its shelves. That's just so effortless, but I still feel the magic there when it comes to this scene of the opening, the train arriving, and just how everything from the kid's perspective, I love that we're in the entire movie, the movie never shifts to the adult's perspective. It's always in the children. And then I love seeing him look up at the train, the steam pouring out, the lights pouring out of the train into the snowy, misty air. That's just, like I said, effortless vibe and tone that makes me just so much more engrossed into the movie's world. It's awesome. It's just really chef's kiss perfection. Or even like when he's on top of the train with the hobo walking on the train, or like when they're going down that crazy mountain train track. That's also just so many incredible, awesome. Moments when the hot chocolate comes out as well. There's just the feeling of warmth and magic to everything in this movie. Everything in this film feels like a little bit of magic to me. Even though I'm 20 years old and the movie is all fiction and none of this is real at all. Santa Claus is most definitely fake. Seeing may always be believing to a lot of people, but maybe the things that we don't see are the things that we believe in the most, which is definitely a big theme in the movie. And that's been just so real when I watch the movie, seeing that, hey, once again, this is all fake, this is all fake movie. I love the vibe this movie brings me. It really does bring me the belief in something. The importance of believing in anything during Christmas time is what makes Christmas so much more important. And that definitely seemed to be our main character's utmost importance when I watched the climax of the entire movie and seeing he finally is at the North Pole. He finally is about to see Santa, but he can't see Santa when he comes to town. And I just love seeing that he can't see Santa. He can't hear the bells. In this direction from Robert Zemeckis is absolutely incredible. The sound design is just very muffled and muddled. The music is all slowed down. Nothing feels real. He can't see him. He can't hear the bells. He doesn't believe. And I love in this moment, the real main thing that really just sells this moment is that there's this amount of desperation and panic from the boy to believe and see Santa because he knows just how important it is and just that this is really the last chance he has to believe in something, but mainly in Santa being this beautiful spirit of Christmas is what makes this moment just that much more incredible. Seeing just how much it means to him in that moment makes it mean just that much more to me in real life, which is absolutely crazy. Once again, the thing that films can do the most is make us feel something, make us feel alive, and this movie just does it all incredibly. And of course, once he's able to believe in Santa and hear the bells and he sees Santa, that's just the most beautiful and incredible just weight lifted off all of our shoulders, and being able to believe in this thing is what makes the movie. And of course, when he's able to be given the gift of anything at all, I mean, this kid can get literally a Ninja 400 motorcycle, or he can get a Toyota Supra, he can get a Bugatti Chiron, but he chooses to get a bell, which wouldn't be my first choice exactly, but still, the bell being the gift that he gets from Santa, being to one, believe, and also to the second thing being a gift that represents Christmas and the holiday spirit truly just lies in your heart, which once again, corny, cheesy, whack. Once again, why wouldn't you exactly get like a Bugatti Chiron, a McLaren Senna, a McLaren P1? I mean, there's a lot of cool cars like, a Mustang GT. You can get a Nissan Skyline for all I know, but a Bell, yeah, sure, whatever, why not? Yeah, sure, it's all in the movie. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And I'm not saying he should get a car because I would love a car. Just my car is cool, but I want a new car. I want like a nice fast car nowadays. But he gets a bell, but he loses the bell. You're not going to lose a Mustang GT. You're going to lose a bell because it's a hole in your pocket. So now you're going to be gone forever. No more bell. But still, Santa saw it somehow. I mean, who knows, whatever. Santa found the bell. He brought the bell back to the kid. And now guess what? He has the cheer and joy of Christmas Day every day for the rest of his life. And that's what it's all about. It doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing, where you're going. It just matters that you believe and that you get on this magical train of life and of Christmas and still deliver the journey of the beautiful spirit of Christmas every single year, which is the film. That's the movie. That's its vibe. That's its theme, is to believe in the importance of belief. And also another little random side note, I love that when they're on their way home from the North Pole, I love seeing all the kids asleep on the train. If you've ever been on a road trip as a kid in your life, you definitely remember being on a road trip for like 5,000 hours long, then seeing up on the screen inside the minivan, there's a copy of Over the Hedge on DVD. That may just be me talking a little bit more there now, but still, whatever. It's a whole lot of fun. Little small things like that are super fun. I love it all. But just wrapping it up here, I know I'm yapping for a long time now, but the main thing to take away from the movie and the main thing that I take away from the film, looking back on it now, is one, the main theme, the importance of belief and believing in something is important for everyone, no matter who you are, how old you are. It's important to believe in something, no matter what it is, which is just always important. But two, I think that the other main second thing that I really realized in this movie is that if you don't already know, Tom Hanks voices a lot of people in this movie. He also does do the mocap for a lot of people as well. So I love this movie. This is a theory as well online. You can watch the video. I'll link it down below in the show notes. There's a little video that I watched, which is the theory that the boy is a version of the conductor and also a version of the hobo, which is kind of cool. But I love seeing that with that little theory there. What I really realized is that the movie does have another second theme as well, which may be a little bit hidden in the movie. And that second theme is definitely choosing the person that you want to become and kind of how you're really a byproduct of all of your decisions, no matter how big or small they are, whether you decide to eat at home or whether you decide to go and get Chick-fil-A for breakfast, you're still going to be down from Chick-fil-A like $10 there, which is very sad. But then you can stay at home and make some nasty boiled eggs, some ketchup and some barbecue sauce, which will be very boring, but still you'll be saving a little bit of money there in that route. I love seeing the boy in the future reflecting on the power of belief. And then we have the boy's father, the conductor, and then the Santa Claus. All of them are three different characters, but three different people, but they're all just showing the importance and the power of being able to carry the burden of spreading a belief and believing in something, even though how like with the dad, he may not believe in Santa Claus anymore, but he still chooses to spread the belief of Christmas every single year to his kids, even though he knows, hey, Santa isn't real. I'm like a 40-year-old man who has bills and taxes to pay because of the bad economy, but still, it's important to spread Christmas cheer and Christmas joy. And the conductor and Santa Claus both those guys don't even exactly gain anything from spreading belief and cheer and joy, but it's still important to really, I guess, like how, who said it? Gandhi said it. Gandhi said that it's important to be the change you want to see in the world. And also it's important to, I guess, in this sense, be the change you want to see, but also be able to make the proper impact as well, which is the entire movie. Once again, just so beautifully tied, wrapped it together, which is very good and very fun. And the last person here is the hobo in the entire movie. Then the hobo in the movie is someone who's shown and seen to be as someone who is a victim of not believing. He's a ghost, so I don't really know what happened to this guy. I don't know how he died. He may have died by that random assassin guy in New York. Who knows? He may have been a rich guy who was a CEO and died to that assassin. Who knows? Who knows at all? I know nothing about that at all either, by the way. But, it does show that he's a victim of someone who didn't believe, someone who grew up and chose not to spread the cheer of Christmas, someone who every year Christmas doesn't work out for him that well, and we can see that how that really negatively affected him. He's living at the bottom of a train, for Pete's sake, and that's definitely not very comfortable at all. He's drinking sock soup, drink hot stuff, which is very nasty as well. Definitely like beardotoclitis kind of stuff, a very nasty disease in that cup of joe, whatever that was. Not fun either, at all. But like I said, we have at the center of all these different characters, the boy being at the center and being able to branch out to become any of those people that I mentioned previously. He can be a hobo who is living at the bottom of a train drinking nasty sock water, or he can be the conductor or Santa Claus or his own father and choose to be something more, something greater, because people really do need it nowadays. And that's, once again, circling back to myself, what I really have learned is that it's important to spread cheer and joy and happiness and magic, because really, it isn't real at all, but it's important to at least try to make it real, even though there's no chance. My final score for the Polar Express is a very respectable 4 out of 5. Is it 4 out of 5 in reality? No. Maybe like 2 out of 5, but still, nostalgia is blinding, very blinding. It's a very blind, bright light, so I can't help but submit to it. And very quickly, lastly, before I let you go, I gotta go into the superlatives for the show. What the heck are superlatives, you may be asking? Well, it is this thing with just awards and stuff. So, the best actor, best scene, best quote, all that fun stuff. That's really the main thing of the superlatives. So, let's go ahead and go into it. It's gonna be a whole lot of fun. Christmassy superlative as well. So it'll be a whole lot more fun as well.
You are a blowfish.
What? Lady, whatever you're selling, I ain't buying, yo.
Well, my name is Skylar White, yo.
I get a spot? Okay.
And as for the very first scene, what is the best scene in the entire movie? It's very tough. But I think that the best scene in the entire movie is kind of a little bit of a tie here. The objectively best, I say, is when Santa Claus arrives and also the ending of the movie. But, the moment where the train is arriving at the kid's house is also just like childhood memory, literally stapled, glued in the back of my mind. So yeah, also a little honorable mention, but still, the Santa Claus arriving scene, also the ending scene, are two objectively best scenes in the entire movie. And then my favorite quote in the entire film has to be, seeing is believing, but sometimes the most real things in the world are the things we can't see, like Christmas and Santa. Santa isn't real, but what he does impact on lives of many is real, which may be the realest thing of all. And then for one teeny tiny small change for the movie is just better animation. A real blanket small change is just better animation. The animation for me, I'm not that that impacted by it, not so much, but still for many, it's a very big thing. So yeah, better animation would definitely help. A little bit of a remaster for this film might go crazy. I definitely wouldn't want like a live action Polar Express. It'd be very bad. But I think that if it was better animated, kind of like Spider-Verse or Mitchell vs. the Machines, or even like Robot Dreams, then it'd be a real whole lot of fun. Really great film. Then if this film was a song, the real song vibe for the movie is definitely Most Def from Laffy, Christmas Dreaming. It's a new Christmas song that came out from her album that released, I think, in November or October. It's a whole lot of fun. It's a great song as well. So Laffy, Christmas Dreaming, great song. Listen to it just in general. It's a real fun one. And then before we get into our MVP, I have firstly Buzz from the Backlot. What is Buzz from the Backlot? Also, it's just film fun facts. Just relax for like 5 seconds here. Only have 3 here today for film fun facts. So, the first one here is that this film is listed in the 2006 Guinness Book of World Records as the first all digital capture film where all the acted parts are done with a digital capture, which is definitely a huge milestone for filmmaking. And like we see before with Avatar, list goes on, a whole lot of great movies that really did do a lot of technology. For the second fun fact here is that the movie is based on the book The Polar Express by author Chris Van Allsburg. Also wrote Jumanji and Zathura, and just had to throw this one in there because Jumanji is definitely a banger, but Zathura is also a childhood memory, literally stapled in the back of my head. That movie is just fire, literally gas. I love that film a lot. Jon Favreau cooked with Zathura. Gotta watch that one in a second here. Then for our last fun fact is that Warner Bros. Listed this one as their first computer animated film, which once again is a huge milestone. It's like, a studio like Warner Brothers being their first computer animated movie, huge milestone for them. And I know Warner Bros. Has been definitely kind of the worst studio out there right now, but still, I have to give them some flowers here and there to kind of save the heat up their back. And then for the MVP for the Polar Express, it's definitely extremely obvious. Tom Hanks. That's all I need to say. Tom Hanks, 6 roles. Nothing else needs to be said. He's the GOAT of all time for actors and definitely the MVP for this movie. No question. And well, with that being said, that's just a wrap for our Polar Express episode. Polar Express been a whole lot of fun doing this one again. I love this film a lot. If you couldn't already, watch this movie, but definitely watch the other movies that we're going to be talking about for the month of December. Like we have The Great next week, Wednesday. We have The Great, The Awesome, Charlie Brown Christmas, which is going to be a very sad one, I think. Then also next week, Monday, before Charlie Brown, we're going to have the very first Nosferatu movie. Going to watch that actually like tonight, probably. Got to get some notes done on that one. And then as we go into later on in the month, on Christmas Day, I want to do a Christmas episode for then too. As of right now, what are we going to do for 25th of the month? I don't know, like at all, but I'll find out soon. And really everything in between those episodes, just stay tuned because the month is just extremely stacked between Mufasa, Nosferatu. We have the one from Timothy Chalamet as well. I keep forgetting the movie's name. A Complete Unknown. I am so sorry to Bob Dylan, but hey, gonna be a banger month for films. Also going to 2025, a huge Oscar season as well. So stay tuned right here for it. It's gonna be a big, massive end of the year here, and also leading into next year, I gotta have a very big slate there as well. Also, 2025 is getting huge for the MCU, for DC, for other massive, huge indie movies. It's getting massive, it's really heating up. So please stay tuned for all that. And until then, stay swagged out, stay cool, watch more films every single day. And until next time, I'm Real Sogan. I'll see you boys in the movies.